Good morning. This week on Behind the Gavel with Jason, we're talking about how Martha Stewart doesn't matter anymore in the world of antiques and estate items. And we're going to strive more about what we mean by that over the next 15 minutes or so. My name is Jason Roski. I'm the owner of the KC Auction and Appraisal Company here in Kansas City, Missouri. Thank you all for watching Behind the Gavel with Jason this week. So when I say Martha Stewart doesn't matter anymore, what do I mean? Well, those of you who have been in this business for as long as I have, which is about 25 years, give or take, and or are in your early to late 40s or older, let me show this on my page real quick. You remember a time when if Martha Stewart said anything in the antiques industry, everybody reacted. If a magazine came out today and she said jadeite glassware was the thing to be seen with, that week, every antique mall found every piece of jadeite glassware they could find and put it on the shelves. She did that with jadeite, with ironstone, McCoy pottery, all kinds of different things. And it was really a driving force in this industry for a long, long time. And because of that, there was more singular voices. And you could turn to Martha, and that was really the biggest name, obviously. She's still a huge name in marketing and in media. There's no doubt about it. Martha Stewart is pretty wonderful. I mean, who doesn't like Martha Stewart? You look back at her, this is what she started out with, QuickBooks, but you can see on her cover, she has a jadeite mixing bowl. And I bet I sold 100 of those because of her hitting those out there. What'd I say? Actually, that's not jadeite. That's a piece of green stone in the jadeite color, but there's a piece of pottery. She did all these greens and those soft colors. And so, like I said, when she said that's the thing, people responded and the markets shifted because of that. And you had voices driving the market in a way that was pretty common. I mean, you go back through marketing from you look back historically from the 40s and 50s when TV started becoming, invasive in our houses. Voices on TV altered how people bought, how people lived their lives. Procter & Gamble is this huge monolithic company because of TV advertising in the 50s, 60s, 70s, and 80s. Reynolds Tobacco, all these big companies that we know today, they're from his history, really got their stuff for the most part in that realm, unless it's earlier companies that got it through mail order. And it was easy because they could go to one source, they could go to one medium and one broadcast situation. TV, if you're on TV, you were set. Your company was set. If you had a message that resonated at all, your message was set. You're going to be successful. That's why TV advertising costs so much money, because the return was so great and so impactful. And so that became where everybody went to. And Martha Stewart came at that point, obviously later than those companies, but her voice came out there through different media. She started being, publishing cookbooks, which became wildly successful and popular. Then she had her own magazine, and she had her own TV shows. And like I said, if Martha Stewart said it, we all bought it. Today, I've been doing some research on this because I throw ideas out there, then I do research to figure out what exactly I'm talking about. So Martha Stewart, at its peak, the magazine had sending out 2 million issues per copy, 200 million copies per issue back in 2002. Today, their markets have shifted. Obviously, the magazine, they still have actually, they sell a lot of magazines. I didn't write down the number. But on their website, they say that they have 8 million followers across all media, which would be magazine sales, Instagram, Twitter, Facebook. I don't know if they're on Snapchat. I didn't see that. But all these other areas. And what Martha is doing, obviously, as she's matured and as her business has matured, she's gotten different markets. And so she has gone from talking about antiques so much. She sells collecting on her website, but it's very, very minimal compared to what it once was. She has a deal with Macy's. She also just announced a deal with Payless shoes, which is a weird thing to me because, you think of Martha Stewart being from the Hamptons and going to the New York City Antique Fair, as well as going to flea markets. But Payless shoes is, she realizes that the money is spent at those levels much more impactfully than at the higher levels. So she is having great success with that. She's teamed up with Snoop Dogg, which still is a fantastic idea, and I think it's really quite wonderful. But so she is not even really thinking about the antiques and vintage market like she once was. Why is that? Well, taste change, cycles change, opportunities present themselves that maybe didn't before. But since she has moved on to more household and lifestyle and selling things and repping things that are new and mass produced, and that if she says you should buy this decorative Christmas tree, go on our website and buy them for $22 as opposed to trying to go out and hunt and search things. So what's happening in its place? Where are people finding inspiration? And what does that mean? So we've heard many times, and I think it's hogwash, but young people don't want old stuff. But they do. All the antique markets are relatively busy in this area. I don't think any more or less than ever. I think the economy is doing well, so those markets are doing fine. When I talk to my friends who do travel and do antique shows, they're still selling well and selling better now than ever. They've refined and adjusted what they're selling because tastes change and markets change. But so what is driving the markets today? And I spend a lot of time on Instagram looking at different antique dealers, design dealers, and things like that. And the numbers are kind of staggering. Some of these people, some of these individual shops have tens of thousands of followers on their Instagram account. Tollgate Revival, which kind of specializes in industrial and advertising, more masculine antiques and design, they have 40,000 plus followers on Instagram. Dusty, do you like antique books? Dusty Attic, Rare Books, posts pictures of antique books all the time. I'm assuming they have a shop. They have almost 24,000 followers. Do you like European antiques? Well, there's an Instagram page called European Antiques, and they have over 50,000 followers. Do you like antique tools? Vintage Tool Works has a page where they have over 12,000 followers. Again, European antiques. And then you have design websites like LMW Decor out of Austin, Texas is a designer. They have 17,000 antiques. Vinny Boy Vintage, which is vintage inspired. But it's kind of interesting. They have 84,000 followers. A friend of mine, Don Fields, Fire Station guy, has 35,000 followers. So individual dealers are putting their message out there in a really strong, powerful, impactful way, and having people from around the world engage with them and expand their market in a way that you could never do that before. You could never, with Don, you could never advertise anywhere and have potentially 36,000 people see that image. And he can do that every day. Now, the algorithms are off. He's not going to see, 36,000 people aren't going to see it. But he probably has 1,500 to 2,000 people see what he's posting on a regular basis. I'm friends with Don for a long time. We follow each other on Instagram. I engage with his commentary and his pictures because I like what he posts. I like his look. I like him a lot. He also buys a fair amount from me, so I promote that. I engage in his page so that people who like us engage with his page, and he does the same for us. And so it becomes a community of people who have similar interests. The other thing that's driving and influencing are museums. The American Folk Art Museum has almost 30,000 followers on Instagram. The Ashmolean Museum, Ashcam School of Art, has 57,000 followers. Hey, Bruce, thanks for watching. The other thing that's becoming more and more prevalent, I need to look up Ruby Lane, but like First Dibs, which is a design clearinghouse. They have design dealers, antique dealers. They have 460,000 followers on Instagram. And so when they put something out there, tens of thousands of people are seeing those images every day. And so they're usurping traditional media. And if you like the kinds of things that their dealers and their platform puts out there, you're going to find it. So what does that mean for the market? If you're a seller, are you looking to liquidate your folks' estate, your grandparents' collections of antiques and art? It means you can find the buyers for very specific things, even if they're not the most current, trendy, hip thing in the marketplace. A guy, Jesse Luzon out of Canada, has a spectacular, I think like 55, 60,000 followers, 70,000 followers on Instagram. He posts McCoy pottery and ironstone and jadeite. It's a lot like what Martha Stewart used to post regularly. So he's filling that void with, and he's putting great commentary with it. It always has funny, interesting stories. But then the other thing that's interesting is like Schumacher Fabrics, which is a really, I know the name, it's very high quality, very expensive. They have 234,000 followers on their Instagram account. I'd have never guessed that. So they got very active very early, is my guess, and we're very proactive in that market because Instagram is, of course, a very visual space. And so if you can have great pictures with great story, you're going to engage a lot of people and get a lot of activity and attraction. They also benefit from when they have, if you're an interior designer, decorator, consultant, and you like to sell Shoemaker fabrics because you have it's a great profit margin, those designers and decorators promote their page as well. So it becomes a great kind of, community again, where you have the main company, Schumacher, and you have a designer in Texas, and, 10 in Dallas, and 12 in Houston, and in LA, and in Fort Lauderdale, and in New York, wherever they are, promoting that, hey, this is a great Schumacher line. If you like Asian-inspired pieces, this fabric is going to be great for you, and so on and so forth with that. Locally, and then of course Facebook is another huge influencing platform. Good Juju, which is a vintage store here in Kansas City, they started almost the exact same time that we started the KC Auction Company 13 years ago in the West Bottoms, when everybody told us we were both crazy. They have 51,000 followers on Facebook. Again, they're using the power of leverage, right? They have dealers that sell in their shops. They've had many dealers come through during the years, over 13 years. Some are still there. Some have left. Some have come back. Of course, people who buy there and are excited about their experience share that information on Facebook and other social media. So it becomes a really powerful marketing tool. If you like those kinds of things, you can engage with them. So you don't need to have that singular voice in the marketplace. Excuse me. If I really like antique books, I don't care about painted furniture. If I really like painted furniture, I may not care about antique books or antique sterling silver. Good friend of mine not good friend, but a friend of mine out in the Carolinas has a Instagram account, wrote it down, Griffin Estate Silver. She has almost 15,000 followers for antique silver, which most people think is a completely dead market. The reality is it's very active in small areas. And so you can find those small areas and really get active with them. If you're looking to sell a collection, or if you're just curious to learn more, a lot of them have great resources here on Facebook. Talking Antiques has like 90,000 people, members of that group, and there's all kinds of information shared there on a daily basis. That some of it's really great. There's some incredibly intelligent people out there that share their knowledge freely and willingly. And it's a great place to learn. There are dozens of antique-related pages, and antique jewelry is another one. And jewelry is interesting because jewelry buyers, what we have found, is they don't necessarily care if it's antique or new. It has a different style to it, but if buyers like the jewelry, the antique value may or may not apply any value or not. It's just they like it. They can wear it. And they might have a Victorian aesthetic, so they're attracted to Victorian jewelry. But they would be just as happy to buy a new piece that looked like it to wear out. So that's what we're seeing. The market is changing as far as the influence of the antique and estate market to much more localized and hyper-concentrated groups of people that are influencing smaller spheres, but more impactful spheres of people. So thank you all for watching. We'll wrap this up in a couple minutes. If you have any questions, go ahead and post them here. Send us a direct message or give us a phone call at 816-283-3633. You can always drop us an email at info@kcauctioncompany.com. And again, you can always post messages here or send us a direct message through Facebook here in Messenger Service. We check those regularly. So again, just to kind of wrap it up and let you all know what we're seeing, the large singular voices in any world, in any market, but especially the antiques market, has changed drastically. There isn't anybody even trying to be that voice anymore because it just doesn't make any sense you can't do it. But smaller voices that are more powerful and impactful are making huge impacts in their own personal businesses and in the design and marketplace as a whole. Like I said, First Dibs is a big one. If you like that type, flea market flip, all these different, smaller magazines and smaller voices that have access to larger groups makes a bigger statement and impact. So thank you all so much for watching. Next week, we'll be doing Behind the Gavel with Jason. Our topic will be the last Christmas dinner at Grandma's house. And this isn't necessarily about Christmas. It's just about conversations to have when you're all in one place. And this time of year, a lot of people are going to Grandma and Grandpa's house for the last time, whether you know it or not. And if you know it, it's a great opportunity to take some time to plan this conversation out. So we're going to talk about maybe some things to think about in that situation. So otherwise, have a great weekend. I hope it's comfortable and the weather's treating you well where you're at. It's brisk here today in Kansas City, but the sun is trying to peek out, so it should be a nice Friday afternoon. Thank you all so much for watching. Have a great weekend.